Color Scheme Portraits with Miss O. To begin, let's review our color schemes. First, we have warm colors. These are anything red, yellow, and orange. Then we have our cool colors. Cool colors are anything with blue, purples, and greens. Analogous colors, 3 colors that touch side by side on the color wheel. Complementary colors, 2 colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. Square complementary colors, 2 colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel, then 2 spaces over, and that color and its complement. And monochromatic, 1 color plus white. You will use your choice of color schemes to complete your portrait. Now let's get started on that portrait. Choose and print a picture of your face. Once you've got your picture printed, you're going to take a pen or pencil and trace the outline using one continuous line. Then flip this paper over and color with a graphite pencil all over the back in order to create a transfer. On a piece of 8x10 illustration board, start by painting the entire piece the color of your color scheme. I'm going to be using monochromatic purples. So I started with a medium purple tone all the way across the back. Now I'm going to put my tracing paper so that the graphite rubbing is facing the illustration board and start tracing over all the lines from my image. Now we're going to cut out that shape. So using a mat and an X-Acto knife, I'm going to follow the edge of my drawing all the way around the outside. Notice that I'm not trying to go all the way through the board in one cut. I'm going to take several small cuts and gradually go through. This is for your safety and also for a clean, nice cut that's even and not shredded. Now take some illustration board and poster board scraps and paint them with your color scheme. You're going to use both kinds of paper because of the thickness to give you some variation and contrast. Paint them using your color scheme. For me, that means tints of purple. Once your paint's dried, take your tracing paper and trace off different sections onto the illustration board or poster board depending on how you want them to lay, as well as where you want the color to be placed. I'm starting with light whites and a very pale purple. These will be used for the whites of my eyes and the top of my hair. And I'm using some darker shades of purple. I'll be cutting out different planes of the face to layer up to create depth and dimension. Continue in this way until you're satisfied with the look of your face. Encourage you to only cut a few pieces at a time and glue them down as you go so you don't lose track of what shapes you're cutting out. Here I'd like to point out that I wasn't happy with the way my lips looked. It was one big shape that didn't have much difference between top and the bottom lip. So since it was on illustration board, I simply took my X-Acto knife and just cut a little of the surface of the paint out of the lips to separate the two. Continue in this way until you're happy with the entire face. You can go as detailed as you'd like. For the second step of this, we're going to take armature wire and follow along the lines of the face. When you come to a hard crease or corner, use the inside of the pliers to create a nice sharp angle. I want you to think of this as a continuous line drawing. Trying to use the wire as if you were trying to do one solid line all the way through. Please know that you probably will have to use at least 2 pieces of wire to complete this, but we want the look of a continuous line drawing. When you complete your wire, you're going to choose a minimum of 3 different places to anchor the wire drawing onto the paper cutout. I'm going to be using both eyes and then the bottom of my lip. Once it's dry, you have a wire color scheme portrait.